Welcome to Conversations and Opinions, and I am Shae.
I'm Clorissa.
I'm Tarvis.
I'm Caronica, and today we're going to be talking about cancel culture. What do you think about it? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Ladies.
So what is cancel culture?
Correct. That's I had to ask that
For the
too.
people in the back that don't.
Yeah.
So what we know as cancel culture now is basically when someone says something or does something that someone doesn't agree with, they get canceled.
You stop supporting their
Start
brand.
supporting the brand, whatever it is they do, whether if it's a podcast, if it's a singer,
Clothing line.
And one person, for example, I know we all know of is Clorissa Michelle. She was canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she's been coming back out talking about her experience and things like that. So, yeah. So, what do y'all think?
Wow.
I know one of the reasons was with Clorissa, she was canceled because of singing at Trump's inauguration.
Oh.
And I'm just going to start by saying, for me, I had to think about it. And I think I started thinking about it because it was like a, what do you call it? It was a thing going around for people, a petition going around for people to sign for, what's the guy who, the
podcast guy or
the one who talks about the dating ones that get ranks.
Oh,
women.
the Samuels guy?
Yeah, it has been a petition going around to get him off. And I had to think about it because people was like, whether I agree with him or not, I'm not trying to mess up his finance over me not agreeing with him. I have to think about it. I'm like, because we have a choice. We have a choice to go subscribe to his channel. We have a choice to open up his information and listen to it. So I'm like, just because we don't agree with someone doesn't mean they have to be canceled.
Yes.
So now wouldn't that be an opinion, like conversations and opinions? Everybody has an opinion. You don't have to agree with someone else's belief. And I like you, why would you mess up anybody's money?
Some people who have been canceled deserved it. There are some people, and I'm not going to say no names, but we all know very popular R&B artist who has had so many of the same complaint over and over and over and over and over and over and over again over a 25-year span. Everybody's not lying all the time. So sometimes, or like Harvey Weinstein, I will say that name. All of the women that you forced to have sex with you, or
now, no more.
What?
Now,
but then that'll go back to Bill Cosby too.
Okay,
so
it just because Bill Cosby and it was a beloved black public figure doesn't mean that he's.
You don't care nothing about the pudding pops.
Not if you're hurting people. Not if you are hurting people and doing something to harm unknowing individuals or people that you have the ability to put your foot on their neck and change their life for the negative if they don't. So some cancel culture, when it's opinion based, is silly. You don't like this. She constantly talks about Pepsi, so you're not gonna watch it and she's canceled. No, but if somebody has reached this high level of acclaim or notoriety, and you find out along the way they've stepped on everybody, they've pushed the old lady over the bridge, they hurt the kids, they did this and that. Cancel culture, people cancel themselves.
Yes, I do agree that. I agree with that.
And looking
I think that cancel culture has its place in our society because of the way certain things are now. You have some people like comedians. Comedians, I don't think should be canceled because they had a joke that somebody didn't like necessarily. I think that there should be places or things you shouldn't be saying, like racial, like really bad racial situations that make no sense and that was just wrong type of situation. But you have people who just stating facts about something, or they're talking about something that is uncomfortable for someone else, and then they want to cancel them. Or you have somebody who don't have the same opinion as somebody else and they want to cancel them. Somebody got mad at somebody because of something as silly as a comment. you know, and they want to cancel them. So to cancel them for things that are little menial things, it makes no sense at all.
Well, if it's small, they don't get canceled. They hear the rumblings of, oh, you should be canceled. You start to see people saying it, but they don't get canceled because not enough people believe in the cancellation. But if it's something harsh, like everybody saying something about one person, it's like, bruh, it's too many people against you. There are too many. So the 5 people that still believe in you don't have enough power to overcome the 18 million who used to subscribe to your channel or who used to buy the stuff from your store. You don't get canceled just because 1 or 2 opinions. You get canceled when everybody has decided that you don't deserve to be here.
So basically, your job, who are actually paying you, decide to cancel you,
that's
regardless
true.
of what nobody else says.
Yep.
So basically, we're the law.
What you said?
Yes.
Because
what'd you say?
We're the law.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Because when I think of the cancel culture, I'm like, who's canceling people?
People.
No, black people.
The patrons.
People of color. That's who we see canceling people.
Okay.
So I'm like, why we feel like we have the right to cancel somebody? I get that someone did something wrong, but even with the Bill Cosby thing, I agree Bill Cosby did something wrong. But why should his other people that he stood with and worked with suffer too?
Wait, so you think that black people are the people who are in charge of the whole cancellation thing in the beginning? Because Rose McGowan is white, and she's the first one who stood up against Harvey Weinstein, and there was a white woman who stood forward against Bill Cosby first.
But no, those are people who are standing up for something
because they were hurt.
They were hurt.
But
okay, we're talking about
harming people.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I agree.
Well, when we're talking about like we can say something today, and somebody would be like, "Oh, I can't believe she said that." It could be a whole uproar just because of what you said.
Right.
But who is it going to be an uproar to?
The people who are patronizing the thing. So,
but doesn't that go back to like even with our podcast comments or anybody's podcast for that matter? So it's the comments, and enough people get on board.
Right.
You don't have the freedom of speech. You have the freedom of
keeping people happy until you don't, and then now you're out of here.
Yeah, you should have the freedom of speech.
And then when you don't have, when you're not saying something like Lil Wayne, people don't agree with how Lil Wayne thinks, but that's how Lil Wayne thinks. Don't be friends with Lil Wayne. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, you don't have to be friends with this person because you're but I don't think he should be canceled because he don't
like dark skinned girls.
Yeah, or he doesn't believe that because this is experience. If he's never been pulled over by a cop and beat up, then he might not see it like somebody.
He might not have the Black Lives Matter feel. Yeah.
But doesn't that go back to just like not even canceling culture as far as media, but doesn't that go back to like who we patronize?
That's
as
what
far
I'm saying.
as
That's what I said.
clothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody stopped wearing Tommy Hilfiger after we heard the thing.
Right.
You know
and we sure said but aren't we also the ones that make them who they are?
Yes.
Millionaires.
Yes.
So should we not have that right? Is what you're saying, or
no?
am I misunderstanding?
I'm saying that we do that to each other. Like if I just don't like what somebody says, we do it. Y'all don't see this on social media.
Are you saying black people?
Yes.
Okay, so but that goes to the point, and which is we kind of are all kind of tap dancing around the same thing. Black people are the largest consumers of most of these industries in the first place. So it just so happens that we are the ones who made you the billionaire. So it just so happens that when our opinion changes, so does your money. So does your income from what we used to do, because now we have decided, like we decided in the beginning, your clothes were hot, but we heard you said something racist, so now it's not anymore. So we have the
even
power
with each other. That's what I'm just trying to get to. It's not just like the clothing lines, it's with each other. Like the example of Lil Wayne, the example, if it's so many of us, we don't like what somebody says and it's like, oh no, he's not hot no more, I'm not. Even with Kanye, as crazy as some of the stuff may be,
but you know what's real interesting to me is we will cancel ourselves, but for lack of a better word, light-skinned Caucasian have degraded us on numerous occasions. The designers and who we patronize, and yet we don't cancel them because we may get mad, but yet we still patronize them. So why are we, as a people, as a culture, canceling our own culture so quick without a second thought? And on the other side of that spectrum, we're like, oh, well, maybe she just had a bad day or something like that. So I don't understand us canceling each other when we've already had a difficult time.
I feel like when you cancel, you take away the educational moment that can happen in this situation. Because just with this podcast, some things I've thought about, and then later on I'm like, dang, I think a little different now that y'all brought up the situations and stuff like that. Because when you said that, I was like, oh no, we shouldn't cancel, but it is a two-part to it because it is the harmful
some
part.
cases, yeah.
Right. But so I think some things are teachable moments.
Yeah,
like even with some white people. Some people have not been around other people, and they do not know
know that they're
so sometimes like, I'm not dealing with her. No, if the person is willing to learn, say something like, hey, you might not want to do that.
Yeah,
or that was can be. I mean, because that's the only way we're gonna grow from it and learn from it. If someone say something, but we cancel this, like, oh. Then you make people timid. I don't want to say this because I'm thinking this, but I don't really want to say it.
Well, that's because people have an issue with being truthful because they are unaware of what that consequence looks like. So we always say, I want you to tell me the truth, but do you really?
No,
because
that's definitely true. The consequence part.
Yes, because you don't.
I honestly think it's power. If it's true that black people are the ones that have the power over the cancel culture, then I think we are not putting this power that we have to the greater use. And my thing is, cancel culture should only be to certain things that have to do with hurting someone physically, mentally, and if it's doing something that is really truly harming someone. But to cancel someone for something menial makes no sense. So if we have the power to actually, because I think, you got to think about it. We haven't had a lot of power in a lot of things, and now
are you talking about our culture
within our culture?
Correct.
And then and now that we have this little power of being able to cancel or to rally people together, and you know how we get, we'll come together to cut off somebody. You know,
and that was my point. And when you said who has that power, who has it? We do, and I feel like we're the most, and I don't know if this is going to be cocky, conceited, or whatever, but I feel like and I don't even like to use the word black, but the darker skinned human beings, I've always felt like we're the most powerful culture on planet Earth, because in a recession or things like that, to me, it truly hasn't been a recession. The only recession we had, to me, was during COVID, because everybody was locked down.
Okay.
But we as a culture, whether we got $1, we going out, we purchasing, we buying. If we don't do that for 24 hours, buy nothing.
Yeah.
They will truly see a recession. So when you say who has that power, I think we as a culture have that power for any instance, but because we have the crab mentality, and I'm going to say it again, the Willie Lynch letters, we don't come together, like you said, Shae, for the greater good.
Well, white people never canceled white people ever.
So
that's the first thing.
Exactly.
So it's going to be us naturally, because white people, and I'm going as sensitively as I can, as a whole, white people just don't throw each other under the bus.
Absolutely
not. They just don't. They will stand by.
Yes, ma'am.
And watch something be done wrong and say, well, I wasn't doing it, so I'm not part of the bad thing. Because when you see the people at the hangings, that picture at the Martin Luther King, everybody who wasn't part of the actual stringing the person up, they may be standing off on the corner, but you're still part of it, and you watch people do it. So white people never do that anyway. So naturally, black people, or the people who are more prominent now, or more prevalent in the media. We're speaking up more. So now it looks like we may be the people behind the cancel culture, but other cultures never do it anyway. You don't see Latinas telling on other Latinas. Right. You don't see white people telling on white people. You don't see the Asian. We are just kind of we're using our voices now. So maybe it looks really bad because we're just.
And it's not only towards black people, of course, because this is the reason why this cancel culture has gotten a name for itself, because we start canceling white people.
Say Black Twitter.
Yeah. We start canceling other people of other cultures and getting them canceled and stuff that. So now it's becoming a household name. Right.
I just feel like we just need to. It's okay to grab the person or call the person or say, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what's going?" I just think when we're canceling people, we're just not giving them room to grow or learn from it. And certain things, even with Samuel, whatever his name is, he how do we even know if that's real? Because some people do.
Which person?
I can't think. Samuel.
Kevin Samuel. Okay.
We don't even know him, so we don't know if he is entertaining or if he really believes what he says. Mm-hmm. But either way, he's trying to make money.
Perception.
Okay, so Derrick Jackson, did he deserve to be canceled?
No.
Okay, what do you think?
We talking about Derrick Jackson, the one with the wife and all
that? So,
I got mixed feelings on that one.
Okay.
I got mixed feelings.
Bill Cosby.
Those are two different situations.
No, I'm just asking in general. Just people that
I don't believe Derrick Jackson should have been canceled.
Bill Cosby,
if your sexual life or whatever you can do on outside of your podcast or whatever he does shouldn't be reflected to how he make his money.
But his money is made off of being honest and true.
That's it right there.
And you literally
that's it right there.
Went against so canceling is not just.
So does that mean that you can't make mistakes? Does that mean you can't? No.
What I'm saying is canceling somebody. Sometimes it's just using the words cancel culture, but he was canceled financially because the people that were buying the stuff no longer.
So now that's a different situation. Yeah. If you just decide not to
so cancel culture is not just saying you're canceled. Yeah. Sometimes you're just pulling back your support.
Oh yeah,
and that's canceling too.
But if when I look at cancel, I'm looking at people saying don't support him,
right?
But if you I was supporting him because he was helping me as a single woman trying to get married and stuff like that. Like let me let him get himself together. But we all know that everybody is human.
Yeah,
we all know that if you were looking at Derrick Jackson as a savior, then at some point you got to look at yourself.
Yeah,
because if you're looking at him and looking like, everything he said was the spot on. No, he was telling you, because I can tell you the truth and not walk in it.
Exactly, all day long.
But at the same time, canceling somebody, you can be part of the cancel culture by not even opening your mouth. You can just say, I was going to buy his book, but now I'm not going to. That's still being part of the cancel culture, whether you're being loud about it or not.
Well, that's different. It's one thing if you're not supporting with your own funds.
Right.
Because he's not doing what you were trying to, the reason why you were purchasing his product.
When people get on a bandwagon that wasn't even in the midst of it. It's like,
another thing trying to completely ruin his life.
But at one point, do you say to yourself, like I've heard you all say, he's human. He makes mistakes. Mm-hmm. So when you choose to put someone on a pedestal, it's not his fault. Because like you said, he's human. So you chose to put him up here instead of going inward and checking yourself.
All day long.
So don't not support him now that he's falling, because we all fall, we all make mistakes.
So is cancel culture a negative thing?
It can be.
So it's a good.
I think the way
it's a catch-22.
The way it's been presented, way it's going is negative, because it's not. If you put it basically like he supports single whatever his era, and they I was doing that because, but then somebody might look at it, his information was true.
It helped me.
Yeah, right. So his information was true. That the information don't change.
Just because he wasn't living the life he was telling you, don't mean.
But that right there, because you're looking and listening to him and expecting him to be exactly what he said.
So it goes back to Tarvis referencing perception. Because if I was looking at you as a counselor and I'm buying your books and I'm tuning into all of your stuff, and I hadn't got to the place where I was trying to get by following you, then maybe I do feel like, oh man, wow. This
so did he say he was a licensed, like, no, he's not professional? No. So that's on them.
Right. So, but if they right. But if they pull back the support, it's not being mean. They just didn't get what they wanted to get from it.
Exactly.
But that's because the way people look at things. Because if you're looking at things, when I buy people book, I really don't look at the person because I don't know the person. So I'm looking at if I go to the bookstore right now and I look at the book and it says how to have a beautiful marriage, and if this person's married for 20 years, I really don't know the person. I'm just like, okay, the title sounds good.
Right.
And everybody that's reviews on it say, oh, this book helps. It showed me how to do all these date nights and stuff like that. And then they say, oh yeah, they got divorced 3 times. I mean, that I'm not looking at the person. I'm looking at the information because it might give me something that I just didn't know before reading. But if I look at the person, let me Google the person. Because if you really want to Google the person, I want to Google him and see what he's he's been married 3 times. Okay, then I'm not getting.
But they don't do that.
We don't do that. If that's what you truly care about,
but if they're going off of experience, he has to go through something in order to be able to tell you anything.
Yeah.
Well, but a lot of people don't believe that because
that's crazy.
People don't
how you not. Like, how can you tell me about what are the ins and outs of a relationship and what don't work and what does work if you haven't been through it?
Correct. But that goes back to therapy. People choose who they go to therapy with because they want to know if you've experienced what, because you can't just go to a therapist and assume that they're going to have those experiences that you're looking help through.
Right.
So like Caronica said, it's not that people don't believe him, but they didn't take the time out to Google. Because if you Google, then you can make an educated, informed decision on whether or not you're going to support this.
And you should make that decision before you start patronizing.
Yes. If you're looking at the person, if you're like, okay, if this person fails tomorrow, I'm done. But if you're looking like, I'm looking at the information, because my information is my information. Now, if you have faith in me, I can't guarantee because I'm human. I'm trying to make it. Like if somebody say, "Oh my God, I can't believe she cussed," and they're like this, diehard Christian. I can't believe she cussed.
Yeah.
Like, okay, don't have faith in my ability is my ability. My knowledge is my knowledge, and now what come out of my mouth sometimes might be a totally different thing.
I think it just depends on the industry too, because let Bank of America have screwed everybody. We're going to cancel them, and we got every right to, right? Because I got personally hurt by that. Or the stock market. If somebody been stealing money and now your stocks have gone down, okay. So I think it just depends on how hurt you are by the thing.
And how involved you are in the situation.
Yes.
Because I feel like I've only seen this particular person on Facebook a few times when he be in his car and he be talking in comments. So I've only seen that, and I don't know if he was selling himself as being the perfect man, or he was trying to give knowledge about things that he have gone through and have been through and experienced. So if he's been only given experiences of what he's gone through, this is just another experience. So y'all about to get a great book.
I think it happens. Next. I think what happened with that was, initially, I mean, I didn't follow him completely, but I think initially he started off just giving advice. But that's where that cockiness comes in. Then it gets to the point where it gets...
Can't nobody touch me.
Yeah, can't nobody touch me. He got a little bit extra. So I think that kind of hurt him. But with that being said, when I looked at him, I clicked on it, was like, oh, that was interesting. I like what he was saying.
Yeah.
But I ain't clicking on you every time because you can't give me information on everything. So I don't put faith in you for everything. So when they said that went down, my initial reaction was like, man, that's messed up. I'm sad for them. You know what I mean? Wife, it wasn't like, oh, I knew he was doing something.
His cancellation, I don't think came from being human. I think it was the lying and the denying.
Exactly. You're a liar. You just tried straight up.
I had sex with him, and they lying like he was absolutely trying to refute it, and they now let me pull out the receipts. Oh, he calling me a liar. That's because
he already knew. He already knew that it's like he's trying to save his finances. Because
that goes back to putting people on pedestals. We're all human beings. And the counsel came, I'm going to reiterate, is because of the lie. And like you said, you don't know if he was speaking about his experiences or he was just trying to give advice. Black queens, knowledge, putting us up on game. But at the end of the day, he's a human being, so why even cancel him? It doesn't matter that he lied.
Yeah.
And then the truth of the matter, if he was a player, then he was right. I mean, who's the best person to give that
exactly.
It's
like,
a player. Yeah. So I mean, you got good content.
Yes. So cancel culture, I think. Well, if Black people, we have so much power, I think this is a greater call to action for us to use our power for greater good.
Right.
So maybe we
cancel the right people. If you're gonna cancel somebody, cancel the right people.
Yeah.
Not no little menial, little crazy stuff that don't make no sense.
So we maybe rally behind somebody and give them a learning opportunity, and then we elevate our culture by educating our culture. Right. So is that what the big goal is here?
Yeah, and I think too, just to reiterate what Caronica said, I think we need to start Googling. So
if you care that much about
if you don't want to know, then don't.
You're trying to get a free counselor.
Yeah, don't.
Because that's what you're doing.
Because I really think that's serious
Google.
For me.
Yeah, just Google.
But we don't do that. We
nobody's ever. We watch our friend on Instagram say this is where I got that purse, and we go get the purse.
Yes.
So it's research on the front end because it all goes back to accountability.
Yes.
So maybe our call to action is Black folks, Black women. We actually do have the power.
Yes, we do.
With the buying power. Absolutely. If a record used to go #1, it was because Black women was buying it.
Yes, that's true.
All the OJs went great because all the women was buying the record. So y'all, look, call to action. Use our power for greater good, right?
Yes.
Right,
we are the world.
We are the world. We are the children. Yes.
We are the world.
Yes.
Let the
we
church
can
say,
make the world a better place.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment.
Bye.